snacks.
What it do, snackers and snackers? It's your boy Gage. That's the homie Sin.
Yes, sir.
This here's Joe.
Yo.
This is Loaded Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and talk about things that are happening in pop culture.
Absolutely.
And this very Spider-licious week is all about Spider-Man Far From Home. We are going to talk about this. So let me just let you know now, there will be spoilers. We're not going to talk about spoilers up front. We're going to keep it spoiler-free for about the first 5 to 10 minutes. We will give you a warning when the spoilers are coming, and then we're gonna let you. We're gonna let loose. We letting loose. So, this is the fair warning. I just want you to know.
That's all you get.
So, I'm gonna start by giving my overall impressions of the film.
Cool.
Okay. This is an excellent movie. It is super well done. Great effects. Probably the best fight we've seen in any Spider-Man film, possibly in the MCU. Possibly. By two singular combatants. Right? We're not talking about a big epic. We're not talking about a war. You know what I mean? Well thought out, well executed, well acted, like from start to finish, funny. Yeah, I'm very happy with this and will stick with saying that this is the best live action Spider-Man we've ever gotten. I am undecided on whether or not it's the best Spider-Man film we've ever gotten, because Into the Spider-Verse is a phenomenal movie. I'm not sure that this is phenomenal, but it's a it's a great movie. Part of the thing is for this movie is that this movie is a really, really great movie for where it falls, where we are timeline wise, what it sets up for the future, and how it ties into the things in the past. Puts a nice little bow on things from before, has things that tie all the way back to the first Iron Man. You know what I mean? Like, so threaded throughout this film are things that cement it as being a solid part of the whole thing. And so I think when you look at what this film does, part of why it's so good is because of how well it's tied to other films that came before it. And if those didn't exist, I don't think I'd be able to put this movie above Spider-Verse as a better movie. I still think Spider-Verse is a better movie overall. But this movie is really good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. Both important films for different reasons. Where y'all at?
What? I think this is the first. I'm actually 100% in agreement with every single thing that he said.
Is that a first?
I don't think. I feel like let's put it up there, maybe 2, 3. I don't think.
Like, I don't know. Either way, in this particular instance, I agree with everything that you said. I'm gonna be honest, this is probably one of my favorite of just MCU period.
Yeah.
This is probably one of my favorite of the movies. Now, just like you said, kind of summing up, putting the bow on top of everything. But one, you wouldn't be able to get some of the enjoyment out of it if you didn't watch, obviously, like going back to Iron Man 1.
Right.
I'm pretty sure if you've gone to see this, you've probably tried to do the catch up, but you may not have caught some of those tidbits that was in there, even though they threw them at you and like, here's the thing, here you go, here you go. They show it to you. It was just like, oh. But like from top to bottom, you know, super excited, laughed, enjoyed it, the action, like everything was spot on.
Yeah.
I was ready to turn back around and go back and see it again. I really was.
Me too. I ain't lying. I already told you I almost canceled this recording.
I know you ain't lying.
I was so close to canceling this joint. Like, I don't know, guys.
We'll have to do this later in the week.
I don't know when.
Yeah, we're going back again. We got a holiday. We can record on holiday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for it.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I agree with
you know, both of y'all, as far as the best live action one, I have to go back and revisit 2 because that was my favorite live action one. So I'd have to just
The first Spider-Man 2, not Amazing Spider-Man.
no,
Okay.
Tobey Maguire.
Toby. My boy Toby.
number 2.
Toby.
Toby number 2.
Your name Toby.
No, it is not Toby. Toby's name is Toby.
It's Peter.
Peter Parker.
No, I enjoyed it. I absolutely loved Mysterio in it. Once Mysterio got into his bag, I was like, ooh, I'm really digging this now. I'm sitting up now, like, let's go. Like,
It was a solid twist.
yeah, it was dope, and I like how they brought Mysterio into the live action world. With the
I agree.
MCU. I like how they did it. Like, it felt good.
Yeah, like with knowledge of Mysterio in the comics and who he is and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, like without spoiling anything, what happens with him in the movie, the way that they tied it to the MCU
Straight up.
was so
Perfect.
good. It was so
Oh
good.
my God.
It was so good, man. And I was like, oh, is this one?
Right.
I lost it.
Yeah, I was sitting there that whole part, like,
I lost it.
Are
I
you
was
serious?
like,
yeah.
and then I was like,
yeah, exactly. But great. I laughed, I clapped, you know, cheered throughout the whole thing. Like, had a great time with it. Like, solid.
It's one of those things where, like, I feel like I can't recommend this enough. I almost feel like, if you're not already on the MCU bandwagon, like, this is a great starting point for anybody who, like, feels like they need to go back and watch all 22 of the other films or whatever, so that they can get to a point where they can comfortably watch and understand what's going on in Endgame and the importance of Infinity War and Endgame. Like, this is like a great point to get on and be like, all right, let's just do phase 4. Let's not even worry about, you know, just like in actual comics, right? Like, you start reading comics, you're gonna get stuck picking up for the most part somewhere where continuity already exists.
Yeah. It's all about going back and learning more and all that.
Exactly. So it's like in the same way that, like, books like that, even when you go pick up a new book, it might be Spider-Man #1. Like, it's almost like we could consider this Spider-Man #1. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that, right? Like, and if you were picking up comic book that was Spider-Man #1, even though there might be things in it that speak to continuities or storylines that came before it, it's a starting point of this story. And I feel like this is a great movie for that. Like, I think I was a little bit concerned as the MCU continued to age that, like, we'd get to a point where it's like, man, if you ain't already on the bandwagon, it's just too late. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of things, TV shows, things like that, like, if you're 6 seasons in and now you want to start watching, you got a lot of work to do. Like, you need to go back and catch up and, you know, whatever. And so, while I feel like you don't have to do that across every movie in the MCU, like, there are certain ones that are like, you should at least see this one, this one, this one, and this one. That list has gotten longer and longer. You know what I mean? Now there's still like at least 10 solid films you need to see to understand what's going on. But if you don't do any of that, even if you don't watch Endgame, I feel like you can pick this up and be like, okay, and start here. And so I think it's really smart, because you got to keep in mind that, like, again, the MCU is so old now, at 10 years, 11 years, you have people who are just now getting old enough to even go and see these movies. So they definitely haven't seen. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about, like, I was going to take my youngest daughter, I was going to take Edie to go see Toy Story 4. Right? So when it came out a couple weeks ago, I'm like, let's go see Toy Story, and she was like, I never saw the first 3. And I was like, for real? You know what I mean? And it's like, that's a party foul. Like, somehow how did I let that? And it's odd, because she's seen, like, the original Aladdin, the original Lion King, like, she's seen Lady and the Tramp, like, she's seen all these classic Disney movies, but she didn't see any of the Toy Stories. And I was like, oh, well, we gotta rectify that. So we've been watching, you know what I mean? We playing catch up. But it's only 3 movies. Right. You know what I'm saying? But there are people who are like 9 now who they might be 6 now. And haven't seen any of the rest of it. Like, technically, they could watch Homecoming and Far From Home and start from there. And just go see everything after that. And I think they'd be good. I think they'll be good. You know what I mean? So I think they did a really good job with this movie. And I think not only does it do a great job of putting a marked end on Phase 3 and everything that came before that, but it is a perfect jumping on point to go forward. And I think that's a big deal. Very difficult to do, considering the landscape.
Yeah.
And I think they did a phenomenal job.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
I think that is the right start. It's
Yeah.
the right start going forward.
Yeah. Is there anything else we want to say about this movie before we get into spoiler territory?
Nope, I'm ready to go to spoiler territory.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the time is now. Spoiler alert is live. From this point out, we will be talking about spoilers for Spider-Man Far From Home and possibly other films. No, definitely other films in the
include some other ones in
MCU.
there.
If you haven't seen them, this is all spoiler territory after this. You have been warned. 5, 4, 3, 2, let's spoil it. I'm gonna let you go first because you seem the most excited.
You let out a woo.
Even though I should probably be the most excited. You're wearing my favorite character symbol.
I am.
And you yelled my favorite wrestler's call sign. So
I don't know.
a spider and a woo. You just all of it.
I mean,
let's talk.
I'm super excited. I'm going back to what you said, Mysterio. Just because from us, when we had this conversation, we knew from the break, it was like, this dude Mysterio is not a good guy.
Correct.
At all.
I knew he wasn't a good guy. I knew he was a bad guy.
Well, I had to tell you, dude has a fishbowl on his head.
I knew what Mysterio looked like. I just didn't read Spider-Man.
I mean,
I had the toy growing up, but like I didn't know like his whole background or nothing.
Right. I got you.
But the whole way how they tied him into the MCU was just absolutely flawless.
That was tough.
My man took my invention and codenamed it Barf. I was like, yo.
You did, yeah.
And he was backstage looking hot. He was backstage hot.
The most heat Jake Gyllenhaal has ever had to show on screen.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean that moment in and of itself, like the Mysterio is a bad guy reveal.
Yeah.
Right? It's probably one of the best moments in all of the MCU cinematic history.
Yeah.
Like tying it back literally again to Iron Man 1. You see my man getting yelled at.
Yep.
Tony Stark!
I was like, oh.
Oh, for real?
I was like,
I'd be mad too, bro. If I was you, I'd be hot too. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, like literally going through that whole thing, thanking all the people, basically treating it like he was getting an Academy Award.
right, straight up.
Right? And the fact that he's, like, the character Mysterio in the comic books is a special effects, he's a special effects director or whatever, and he feels like he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, the recognition that he deserves. So he's going for that recognition, starts to create these bad guys so he can pretend that he's a good guy so he can start to get that recognition. And so even though technically, what was brilliant about that spin was like, in this movie, he's not going for I need to be recognized by the Academy for my greatness, you know what I mean, in special effects. He wants to be respected by somebody like Tony Stark. He still goes through that speech like he's receiving the Academy Award. He's thanking all the people, you know what I mean, who are responsible for it. And the fact that in that moment, like, whole time, like, he's fake. Like, I'm sitting there,
I'm
like,
doing
the
whole time. I'm like, oh, you are so full.
Listen,
right now.
listen.
Now there was a moment though when he was fighting the last of the elementals, and he did like the explosion. I was like, yo, did he actually die? Like I was like, did he actually die? And then when Peter went up and put, I was like, oh, okay, because I was thinking, oh, maybe this is what happened. Maybe
it's something else.
Maybe he was good.
I did too for a second. That someone was like, he on that bullshit.
I'll tell you why. I knew that joint wasn't a real thing because at that point the web thing had already happened and it had pulled a piece of his thing off, and MJ had picked it up, and I was like, oh, he faked. He's so fake. Like, Edie was sitting next to me, and I was like, oh, he fake. And she was like, he fake? And I was like, he's so fake. Like, this is so fake. And I didn't want to spoil it for her, and I couldn't tell her, like, right there, we watching it. But when they was sitting in the bar, and they was rapping, I was looking at him like, man, I want to punch him.
Yeah,
He's so fake.
He was like, I'm honored that you gave me these glasses that.
I was like, dog, you gonna give him to E.d.i.t.h?
Right.
You gonna give him to E.d.i.t.h? You know what I mean? Like, but what I didn't see coming was Peter walking out and everybody in that car was in on it. I didn't see that coming at all. Yeah, my man was like, "We did it!"
Yeah,
I thought initially I thought they were all fake when the whole projection started.
Yeah,
I thought they were
everything
each
was
about to just start disappearing. He was just gonna be the only one sitting there like and just start getting the.
Yeah.
Oh no, he had a squad.
He did.
He did have a squad.
He did.
His squad held him
you
down.
You still need the cape? Do I still need to stand on the cape?
Yeah, I need the cape.
Yeah,
Maybe stand in front of the queen a little bit. I need to have the cape.
Hey, dog, but I love the fact that they, like in the trailers, they do make it about Tony to a certain extent, right? How do you get out of the shadow with Tony? What Peter's dealing with in terms of...
I did enjoy that aspect of it. Like, just trying to like, hey, you gonna be the next guy? Like y'all need to like
give me
like,
for real, give me a moment, right? But here's the thing about it. I was having this discussion with somebody, and I think one of the things that you know you got to think about is like for the people in the city, for the people of New York, their superhero technically is Tony Stark. It's not Cap. They don't know Black Widow.
Right.
They don't know Hawkeye. They know of Hulk. He's not really a hero.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever, right? And then there's Spider-Man, who is like their neighborhood.
They've had
whatever,
all these
right?
films to learn Tony. Like he's been
They
flying
know
around
him,
California,
right?
New York.
He made it. It's a big deal. Whatever, right? But they don't even know that Spider-Man is tied to Tony in any way.
Right.
Like, what happens in Homecoming, where Iron Man comes and helps him put the shit back together? Like, that's the only interaction that anybody may have even seen that with them, and it's not
they
like
might have seen in Infinity War when they was fighting in the city.
But that's it. But I was going to get to that because that hadn't happened yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Homecoming's first.
You're right.
Then Infinity War, like he comes over and he helps, but it's like that's his neighborhood and something's happening. It's not like y'all know each other and it's actually a thing. They're both just two heroes that are taking on something that's happening in the city.
Exactly.
But for like people in the city, they have no idea what the actual relationship is. They don't know anything about them knowing each other and going, you know what I'm saying, to fight Captain America in Civil War, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like, they don't know any of that, right? And so for Peter, even when he says in the movie, when he's like, dog, like, I can't, like, if they see me in my suit, like, they gonna know who I am. They gonna put it together. You know what I'm saying? I had the whole thing in Washington. Like, they gonna figure it out.
Right.
People don't know it's him. People don't know that he has a... So when people are asking him, like, you gonna be the next Tony Stark, it's kind of like, yeah, you are a neighborhood guy, but now a big guy's gone, so it's time for you to step up.
Right.
It's almost like having the kid who's the best basketball player in high school and asking them, are they gonna be the next guy that puts their neighborhood on the map? You know what I mean? The next guy that's gonna step up and be, you gonna be, what's up? You gonna be the next Jordan? You gonna be the next, you the next Kobe? You know, whatever it is. Like, they throwing it at him without having an understanding or a knowledge of like the actual relationship, that he was there when he died, that he went to the funeral, that he actually did know him personally, that it did mean something to him. For them, as far as they know, they don't even know each other. He knows Iron Man as well as they know Iron Man. So even though the city is upset that they lost Iron Man, they're like, yeah, but we got Spider-Man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and so you just kind of figure.
That's Spider-Man, Night Monkey.
Night Monkey. Oh
man. Let me just say that when we was in the theater, I literally saying, I was like, now, if this was a Miles Morales movie, that would
have been a problem.
Not been okay.
We
could not have done that.
No, we could.
But it was Peter, so Night Monkey's okay.
It's acceptable.
Yeah, like I think that the end credit and after credit moments for this movie are the most important after credit moments we've gotten in all of the MCU.
Yeah,
I agree. Yep. I agree.
They are the most important.
It was this dude behind me screaming at the top of his freaking lungs.
He just kept like, saying, that was me.
That was me hearing from all the way in my theater where you were.
No,
that was me.
He was like, no! Like, no, he would not stop at the top of his lungs.
I lost it because
like he was standing like, no, like he was really like emotional and pissed.
Like, they can't do that.
And I was the thing is, I was excited. Now, when Mysterio cut out the first time when he got ready to say his name, I was like, oh yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. And he blipped back.
I knew it was gonna come back.
It was like, nah. Peter Parker. I was like,
Wow.
Oh, that's out there. Because I was like, since we couldn't get like Civil War where, he came forward and, revealed himself to the world, I was like, yo, this is pretty interesting.
I love it going forward.
And this is kind of like...
Forward.
Yeah, because...
I love it going forward.
You know what the most important thing, like, in that moment for me, was like, ooh, Flash. Ooh, Flash. Flash gonna be hot.
Yep.
He gonna be hot.
He gonna have a conundrum with himself. Like, just,
but it could be perfect because there was another setup at the end of the movie. Like, Flash is a dick. Straight up. Like, I hate that dude.
Yeah.
But all bullies have that thing where, like, at home, whatever. And when they come back, and my man is like, so mom couldn't come. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, literally, my kids were both like, oh. Nah, dog. He's a jerk, young. He don't get,
So I was like, that's a setup for something, right?
Yeah, straight up.
That's a setup for something.
And the Flash Spider-Man thing is a thing, bruh. And like, when they're talking about the possibility of trying to bring Venom. And Flash ends up with Venom in the comics, and the fact that Venom listen, I had this whole thing out with somebody before this even happened. I turned sideways.
That was the turn.
Let me tell you. So I was like, okay, the Venom movie took place in San Francisco, so it's not even close to where Spider-Man is in New York. Doesn't even make sense that the symbiote gets there or whatever. But how does that end up happening? How could they have Spider-Man and Venom end up fighting each other, right? But the idea that Flash somehow ends up with the symbiote, right? Whether it's a part of it, a piece of it, something separate from it, whatever, you have somebody who knows who he is, who knows all about him, and has a hatred for him like an Eddie Brock would. Instead of it being Eddie Brock. Right? And if in some way, shape, or form it ends up being that Spider-Man ends up fighting him, like, it's an Avengers thing. They can form a West Coast Avengers. They could be over there doing something, whatever. He ends up getting a little something that sticks on him, comes back home with him. That joint ends up on my man Flash. Even if later on, Flash is like, I graduated, I'm going to the military, you get Asian Venom.
Right.
Bruh. Like, the setup is there for all of that.
It's all there.
There's a lot of foreshadowing, like, in this movie throughout. But the second scene.
I was about to say, can we get to the second joint?
The second scene, sir. I'm gonna let you just you
Hey dog,
speak on it.
When Fury and Hill are in the car driving, and we see Hill change into the Skrull, I didn't think said, we called it. I just yelled it out. I said, we called it.
I saw the first ripple. I was a Skrull. Skrull.
I just said, we called it. I just yelled it.
Bruh,
I'm gonna be honest with you, because you know what? When he in the commercial, when he's like, "Bitch, you been to space," part of me was saying, "That's kind of Nick Fury, but it's not." But then, how do you really know? And I was like, "There's something off about that."
Yeah,
but that was a moment. Hearing him make that call to Nick Fury, we kind of messed up a little bit, but we got things kind of back on track, and like having to explain it to him, and then to see Nick on a freaking spaceship chilling in his room.
I thought my man was like Project Tahiti or something.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you what. Zayna said that. She was like, "Is he in Tahiti?" And I was like, "I don't know."
I straight up said that. I was like, "Wait a minute."
Thought that too. I was like,
John looks super fake. Like, right off the break, it looks super fake.
Oh yeah.
Then he gets him to start to move.
Fake.
Yeah, he gets him to start to move and just walk around the ship. I'm like, okay, they said they was going cosmic. We're cosmic.
Let's talk about it for a second. Let's talk about what that means. First of all, everybody on that ship was straight up a Skrull. So, let's talk timelines. Let me get started. Cause this joint, y'all understand, I've been baking. I've been cooking. What is going on? Cause for real,
Oh, when he mentioned Captain Marvel's name.
And he was like, "Don't bring her.
Yeah.
Don't bring her. Let's not even bring her into this."
I'm like, okay.
Right? This is why they couldn't call him. Like, it makes everything else that they did that seemed kind of un-Nick Fury.
Make sense.
It made it make sense.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. How many times has Talos or any other Skrull been on Earth pretending to be Nick Fury?
Nick Fury.
Pretending to be anyone for that matter. Under what instances and or circumstances has it been that any other time we've seen Nick Fury in any other film, it wasn't him? Because straight up, him and Talos been kicking it for 30 years.
Yeah, straight up.
30 years. Captain Marvel takes place in 95. This joint is now plus a 5-year jump.
That's probably why he the super spy.
You know what I'm saying?
He got an ally like that.
Like, on the real, he's on a spaceship. We have no idea where in space.
Right.
And the ship is filled with Skrulls. And it ain't the ship that they was on.
No.
In
This
Captain
was
Marvel.
like a helicarrier, like something real big and massive, like
It
a
is
mother
sword.
We are
Straight
talking
up.
sword. We are talking the space version of S.h.i.e.L.D.
People looked at me like I was crazy in the theater because I yelled out, "Oh, sword!" I straight did that, and folks looked at me, I'm like, "You don't know what sword is?" I'm like, "I'm sorry." Like,
No.
it's like I'm a little extra, but no, I straight up was
Straight
like,
up. Like, when you start thinking about, I've been claiming Secret War, it got to be going down. Like, I mean,
it looks like
Secret Invasion.
Yes.
I mean,
the Russos are on the burner.
so easy
It's simmering right now.
for them to take anybody, like, because there's so many Skrulls and they've been around for so long that the possibility, the ability for them to be there, even if they were there under some kind of covert op, you know what I'm saying? Like, I even thought to myself, is it possible that it wasn't Nick that got dusted? But I'm pretty sure it was, because he had the, you know what I mean?
I gotta make this call. Like,
Right.
That was that.
Right? But it is relatively safe to assume. Like, think about it. Nick Fury is known throughout every, like, Secret Invasion, any of those times. Like, Nick Fury is known for having life model decoys.
Yep.
Other, like, when you think you're talking to him, you're not really talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not actually there. You know what I mean? Like, just having people fooled because he is that kind of a spy. When my man said he was going on vacation, like, at the end of, what was that, Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
He
When S.h.i.e.L.D. came down,
He could have been on
my
vacation.
man could have been there the whole time. Like, as far as y'all know, I'm dead. They were at his funeral, bruh. They were standing in front of his tombstone. He been up there
Getting ready for what's coming after this.
because he could have been going back and forth the whole time.
Yeah.
Preparing after the Thor, and it was like once Thor came, it was like, yo,
It's factual.
we know now there's others out there. You know what?
Yeah.
He
You need to start
already knew
preparing.
that, though.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. He already knew that.
This one of the projects that's buried way down.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you, like,
Years.
yeah, when you think about it, when you have an initiative like the Avengers Initiative that doesn't start until 2008, but you've been aware since 95, that is popping, and you trying to put it together. When that first Hammer shows up, Thor shows up, things start going off, and you're trying to put a team together, it ain't like you really just going back to the helicarrier, going back to S.h.i.E.L.D. headquarters. Like, you popping back up there and being like, listen, check me out. I need you to go down here, look like one of us. I need you to go down here and do some things.
Ask some questions.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to go make some things, you know what I'm saying, happen. That just sets up so much for the future of this franchise and what is coming or could be coming. Because there was really no reason for them to put Skrulls in this movie at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
At all!
That tells us where the direction they're going. Because there's only reason to. Only reason to have Skrulls in it.
Pre-Skrull War.
It's
Like,
all there.
I mean,
It's coming.
I'm so...
I am too.
That right there just...
You got your Peter Tingle?
Oh. No.
We don't do that.
We don't do that. We do not do that. Yeah.
So yeah, but since Mysterio is a fake fraud now, I mean, what does that do for multiverse theory?
It's out the window.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, it was just there to mess with us.
It did it.
Yeah. I mean, No, I'm messed with.
they had us locked in on that for
616.
Talked all about it, but I was like, something can't be right because that's the comic book universe, and the MCU is not that universe.
And the source of which we're getting it from, which was Mysterio.
Yep. Everything he said went out the window. Family.
Hey, am I the only one who was actually like glad that like he died at the end of the joint?
The first thought that ran through my head was like, I'm thinking Sinister Six. So I'm like, they can resurrect him somehow, maybe. But then I was like, maybe he's not dead, but...
Well, you got to keep this in mind. Technically, the technology still exists.
True.
And the other dude got away, and he had downloaded some program. I don't know exactly what he downloaded, but he downloaded this program, or at least he downloaded the footage that they ended up showing at the end of the other thing. So we don't know what he has, and all of the rest of those people still exist. So if Mysterio shows back up, even if it's in hologram, because technically, once you see how they did it, you realize that like he's not actually there during like any of it.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all fake. He's so fake.
Very much so.
But I don't know, man. Some of them joints was convincing when Spidey was fighting him, man. Like that first time before he got hit by that train, like.
Oh, he was getting whooped.
He was.
He was getting whooped.
Body, like.
He ain't stand a chance.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, but that's one of them battles. Unless you know how he already operates, you're already at a massive disadvantage.
Yeah, but that is like a keynote. That is a piece of Spider-Man. Like that's what happens. Spider-Man goes in, gets whooped, loses, licks his wounds, figures it out. All right,
let me get back in here. Let's do this again.
Let me get in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put these shocks in these webs.
Yep.
And these explosives in these webs. And I'm gonna go back in here and I'm gonna body this dude. You know what I'm saying? You threatening my friends?
Nah.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna body this dude. You threatening the woman I love?
No. Nah, it don't go down like that.
I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna body this dude.
Don't go down like that.
That's what it is. So I'm on it. But the look on my man's face after swinging through the air with MJ.
Yeah, she ain't about that life.
Not at all.
She ain't about that life.
That was so good for it to be so different from the last time when it was always like, oh, she loves swinging to the, hey, Tiger, take me to...
Nope.
She ain't having
that
Not doing that
I'm
again.
good with that.
Nope.
Good.
One time's enough.
Yeah. When he was like, you gonna love this.
Nope.
Nah, bruh, not even. Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
Not even. But yeah, that was... I just like how they put enough of a spin on it to be different enough. Like, people have learned and kind of grown to accept her as MJ because she's not Mary Jane. She's just MJ. You know what I'm saying? That there is no Mary Jane is like, for hardcore Spider-Man fans, like, remember people being up in arms when they first announced theirs, and it's like where we are now with like Ned as a character, even because he's like a hybrid character, you know what I mean, and like Betty even being around. The other thing that stands out to me is there was no Cindy Moon in this movie.
Nah, she was in the You're right.
She was in the first one. So if she shows up as Silk in the next joint, like after the jump, because she got like in the Silk, in the comic book, in the storyline, like she was wrapped up, like locked away for a long time while they, her powers and all that stuff kind of manifested or whatever. She shows up. If it takes the Spider-Verse to show up and be like, nah, he not Spider-Man, I'm Spider-Man. Nah, he not Spider-Man, I'm Spider-Man. For a youngin' to show up and be like, she's not Spider-Man, I'm Spider-Man. Bruh! They might be doing something, man.
The Spider Universe.
I'm out here making up stuff. I'm just making up stuff.
The potential for what they can do going forward is just wide open. It's wide open. The way they stuck the land on this one and just how.
But here's the thing: it is wide open, but they know what they're gonna do.
Oh yeah, it's already the bag.
They murdering me right now. Yeah. I just want to know. I just want to sit in on a meeting.
Sitting there laughing.
Just sit on a conference call.
I just want to know.
They only knew it was coming their way.
Hey Slim, if I could tap their phones.
You want to jump on that phone tree?
If I could tap their phones.
Man,
you kidding me?
They probably don't even talk on the phone. They probably, hey, look, this line ain't secure. Like, what we did in these movies. This line ain't secure. Wait until I get to the actual building.
I'll be there. All they gotta do is say what building.
He gonna Mysterio that John all gonna be fake.
Yep.
All be fake.
Straight up.
Only him and whichever one of the directors is in there talking. Right. The only ones that's real. And once they realize, they're like, oh, it's too late.
I just need a fishbowl.
That's it?
That's it.
Alright, we'll let Petco take care of that.
My man.
Go to Petco, take
My
care of
man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Big old fishbowl. Gotta keep a hat on.
Keep that on inside the fishbowl.
And the bandana on.
That is a big ass fishbowl.
It's a big old
Sit on your
fishbowl.
head.
The fact to fit the head, you gotta fit your head through and through. Like,
Hey. We'll make it happen. Alright, look. There's so much more left to discuss. What I think is gonna happen is we're probably gonna end up live streaming next week.
I think so.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Making sure that we can talk a little bit more in depth about this.
Give people more time to go see it.
Yeah, and we'll have seen it again, I'm sure, by
at
then.
least.
So it'll be a little more
Twice.
fresh
Yeah.
in our heads. In the meantime, you guys let us know how you felt about the film, what you
Please.
think. What did we miss? What is it that we didn't talk about? Are there any implications going forward that we haven't thought of or whatever? Y'all let us know what you think in the comments. We appreciate it. With that, we out. Toodles and loos. What it do, snackers and snackettes? Did you like what you just saw? If so, all I need you to do is like, share, and subscribe. Then hit the ding-a-ling bell so you get a notification every time we upload a new video. Then shoot over to patreon.com/loading snacks where you can support us. Then click this video or click this video. Now, who got snacks? Anybody? Who got snacks?
I do.
That's not-